What time is it? It's time for another Every Other Wednesday.
Hello, hello, everyone. Come on in. Here we are. Yeah, we've got a great group forming today, and a great guest, and the four of us.
Welcome, everybody. We're being unabashed self-promoters.
I know, and I don't have a copy of my book here.
Richard accused us. Well, we'll introduce our guest soon. Welcome, everybody. What's our question today, Mike?
Welcome. What?
Well, first of all, you have the date, Mike. Do you have the date?
Oh,
I do. Welcome, everyone.
July 23rd.
In case you're confused and lost, it is July 23rd, 2025.
And it's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. It's an other Wednesday.
Yes.
And the question
Not to be confused with the other Wednesday.
Yeah. What's our question, Mike? Let's get on with this.
Our question, yes, in the chat box, and please make sure you change your chat if you haven't already to everyone so that we can all see your brilliance. Today's question, because it happens to be a sprinkle day, official sprinkle day, to celebrate those little colorful sprinkles that you sometimes put on things. So our question is simply this: what do you like to put sprinkles on? What's your favorite thing to sprinkle, to adorn?
Do I start here? And what other days is it? Well, they're answering those questions there, Mr. Michael.
It is also Gorgeous Grandma Day and Hot Enough for You Day.
I have to stop here. In homage to my dear grandmother, literally was born 116 years ago today, and she was gorgeous.
Okay. That's a showstopper.
I'm just saying. She was quite she was really, yeah.
Should we have a
Christmas
moment of
cookies,
silence?
ice cream? No, it's been enough time.
I like to put sprinklers on the lawn, water.
Mitch, yes, Mitch, answer the question.
Well, I mean, I would tell you that it's my 5-year-old daughter. I mean, when she has ice cream or pancakes or yogurt, she wants sprinkles over everything,
Right.
and
including her.
I used to do it, and then she was like, "No, Dad, you're not doing it right. I will do it myself." And so I was told, and so now I have to have the big jar that has 8 different types of sprinkles in it, and you open the one little lid. I have to have that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Of course.
Got it.
All right. Well, we're getting a few answers in here, but I think it's
cupcakes, cookies,
yeah.
grandkids, ice cream, Christmas cookies.
Did somebody say grandkids? Did somebody actually say grandkids? Oh, okay, yeah.
Ryan, welcome.
Oh, fun. Okay, all right, everybody. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you? Because we've got a great episode for you today. And everybody, you see our guest on the screen. We're going to introduce ourselves first. I'll go last. And then we will introduce Mitch Luciano. So, Mike, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Michael Kerr coming to you as I usually am from Canmore, Alberta in the beautiful Canadian Rockies. And I speak and write about inspiring workplace cultures and humor in the workplace. Sanjay.
My name is Sanjay Nath. I am based just outside of Toronto in Oakville, Ontario. I am a speaker and author focusing on performance and leadership. Mr. Jeff.
I'm going to do it in the style of Michael Kerr. I'm going to sing it. That's what he sounds like, right? Yeah. I'm Jeff Tobin. I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a speaker and author on the area of customer experience, which includes employee engagement. And I want to just say that I have a new book coming out. So I just want to tease everybody, called The Lemonade Stand. Stay tuned.
By the way, Jeff, you need to work on the singing. Michael has perfect pitch.
We all know that.
I won't even, as the only one in the group probably who has received classical voice training, I'm going to resist all of that. But anyway, my name is Richard Haddon, and I am a speaker and author. I wrote Contented Cows Still Give Better Milk. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, but today I am in lovely Nashville, Tennessee. But I want to really introduce our guest today, and this is Mitch Luciano. So everyone, please say welcome to Mitch. And let me tell you a little bit about Mitch. Mitch is also coming to us from Jacksonville, Florida. And the interesting thing about Jacksonville, one of the things is that just recently, Jacksonville was named as the most boring city in the U.S. It really was.
Wait,
Mitch, did you see that? Did you not see that? Oh, yeah. It's been all over the news and everything.
Was this shortly after you moved there, Richard? Or
no, I've been there all my life. No, literally. And this, I mean, it was not exactly the most reliable source that said that, but it was some article that came out saying Jacksonville was the most boring city in the country. But what Jacksonville is also known for is it is the logistics center of the U.S. It says that on the sign as you drive out of the airport. America's Logistics Center. So I believe it. And one
Okay,
of the
so
things,
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there because I think
Yeah.
there's a connection between those two things.
Hey. Sanjay and I
There,
are offended
what
here a
is
little bit.
Canmore the center of except beautiful scenery? No, but the thing is, one of the things that is driving Jacksonville being America's Logistics Center is a company called Trailer Bridge. And you are looking right now at the CEO of Trailer Bridge. Mitch Luciano is the CEO of Trailer Bridge. He is a dynamic, as you'll see, results-driven business leader led by his entrepreneurial spirit and his passion for people. And that's one reason that we invited him to be with us today. With more than 20 years of experience transforming organizations and driving success, as I said, he is the CEO of Trailer Bridge, which is a global transportation and logistics provider headquartered in Northeast Florida. Since joining the company, Trailer Bridge, in 2012, Mitch has reshaped the company's strategic direction, spearheading an innovative and aggressive growth strategy that expanded its footprint and service offerings. His leadership philosophy, centered on service to others, continues to shape the company's culture today. He brings a wealth of experience from his previous role as president, COO, and owner of both Magellan Logistics and 4E Logistics, as well as companies like C.H. Robinson and NYK Logistics. Mitch Luciano knows logistics. Welcome, Mitch Luciano.
Hey, welcome, Mitch.
Welcome.
Thank you guys
And
for
Mitch-
having me. I'm still going back to Jacksonville's the most boring city is. There's 175 family members that live here in Jacksonville, and I'm telling you, it is not a boring city.
I know.
I've lived in a lot of different places, and I would never leave this town. I love this town.
You're not a
I do.
native, Mitch?
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
sure.
and me both. You and me
You
both,
have-
Mitch.
Mitch, you have fans also who have joined us. Names I don't recognize, but are cheering for Jacksonville in the chat box.
Yes, yes. Thank you. All right. Well, this is not so much about Jacksonville as it is about culture, and that's really one reason that we invited Mitch to be with us. So, I've known Mitch for a while, and I have some questions for him. So I know a little bit of his backstory. I know, Mitch, that you've been with Trailer Bridge since 2012, and you were offered the CEO title at one time, and you said no to it. Can you tell us a little bit about that story and what that taught you about leadership specifically?
So I wanted to take a break in my professional career a little bit. So I joined Trailer Bridge as a VP of logistics. I want to take a step back and focus on family, and did that for a couple of years. And during that 2 years here at Trailer Bridge, we have 4 CEOs in 2 years. And so when the final one was gone, they offered me the president's role about 4 months before the final CEO was gone, and they said, "We want to be the CEO." And I was like, "Guys, man, nobody trusts the CEO in this building." And I fell in love with the people here. I just did, and I was like, "You don't need a CEO right now. You just need someone that the people in Trailer Bridge can trust." And so they were okay with that. And so we built. I was fortunate enough to work with some amazing people and build some bonds that I have yet to build in my whole career is really special bonds here at Trailer Bridge. And then in December of 2015, they offered me a seat on the board. And I was sitting in New York City on Park Avenue. And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love a seat on the board." And they were like, "Yeah, but you have to be the CEO." I actually left the board meeting going, "Let me think about it." And I started walking down Park Avenue, and our former CFO looked over at me and he goes, "If you don't take this role, they'll probably bring someone else in to be the CEO. These guys want a CEO." And I was like, "Ah, shit, you're right." And so I immediately picked up the phone. I called my chairman and I said, "I'll take the CEO role." Because I think at that point, it was my goal to build the trust of the people. That was my number one goal of all the leadership. And I said, "Guys, it's going to take us 3 years to change the culture of Trailer Bridge. It'll take us 1 day to ruin it. And so we have to be on our game every single day." And it was tough sometimes, but when you build a bond with people and you build trust, it does definitely make it a lot easier. So that's kind of how that kind of played out.
Could the reason that you had 4 CEOs in 2 years be the fact that they were offering the CEO job to people while the other CEO was still there?
Yeah, honestly, that plays a role. I think the biggest role for that was 3 of the 4 didn't live in Jacksonville. And so they'd commute in on Monday afternoon and they'd leave out on Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, and there was no connection. And they were all good gentlemen. They were all good people. There's nothing, I can't say anything bad about the people. It's just this company had gone through a bankruptcy in 2011, and having 4 CEOs after that, and someone that wasn't here listening to the people, first one in, last one out kind of thing. It was tough on the team. And so, you know, the one that did live here, he's still in the logistics space. I don't know that he was given a fair shot by the board, but at the same time, it just didn't work. And so I was the lucky one, and here I am 10 years later in the same role, and I love it.
Actually,
So-
it's
so-
13 years later, you know, to do the math.
Well, 10 years in this role,
Okay.
10 years in
Okay.
this role. Yeah.
So it's interesting because I'm gonna be a bit of a contrarian in saying that I don't know if it actually has to do with them not being local. Because I think I mean, maybe that's a small piece of it, but either you're committed or you're not. So
Well, you can't come in Monday afternoon and leave out Thursday morning. You can't do that.
I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is, even if you're there from Monday through Thursday, you can either make the connections or not. Right. And as I understand it too, you've described yourself often as a love-based leader. Right.
Yep.
And that's not a very common phrase we hear in corporation. And I mentioned to you in our little green room pre-talk that I used to run a logistics company. And much smaller. You know, I had 20 employees, a dozen vehicles. And I'll tell you, like, the idea of love amongst that group is not a very common thing. And I think it's those connections. Like we went through a 2-year, first 6 months was hell. But after that, once we kind of solidified things and cleaned them up, we went 2 years with zero turnover. And in the logistics world, when you're mostly drivers, that's unheard of. But I think it has to do with those connections.
Right.
And I was not going in every day necessarily. So talk to me about this whole love-based leader.
Well, I think, you know, when I talk about that, it's and the chat room may blow up with some people with trailer bears because they've done it, is invite them over to my house for dinner, meet my family, do family things. You know, that those are things that were not being done in those 2 years previous to me.
Wait.
And
How many employees do you have?
we have 270.
You must have a big house for dinner.
But yeah, not everyone comes, obviously. We have
Okay.
some in Dallas, some in Kansas City, some in Raleigh, we
Got
have
it.
Puerto Rico, we have Mexico. So we have some in California and Oregon. So it's and Dominican Republic. I can't forget about Dominican Republic. So it's when they're in town for things. I think it's love. Listen, love is obviously not the hugs and kisses all the time. Now, yesterday I was in Puerto Rico and I got to see my Puerto Rican family, and I gave everyone a hug, and I was very excited about that.
That's the culture, yeah.
And so, but it's about connecting with the people at a level. It's not about being the CEO. It's just about, you know, being the support of the rest of the company. And I think the team felt that, and that's why we were able to build a connection and I got to know their families, their kids, and that's what's important to me. And so I think I don't disagree with Sanjay that you can build a culture of success. And you can build, I mean, zero turnover for truck drivers over 2 years is insane when the average in the US is like 120%, whatever it is. And so I think you can still do it, but you did it still by caring about the people. You just didn't show up and sit in your office, and you sat on the floor, you talked to them. When you actually asked them how their morning was going or how their night was or day was yesterday, you stopped and listened to them. You made eye contact. You just didn't walk by and just keep walking. So you did it in a different way that they needed. So I always tell people here, we do leadership at Trailer Bridge, is you have to speak to people and talk to people the way they listen. And as leaders, it's your responsibility to understand that.
So Mitch, you said earlier that your key priority when you took over was to build trust. So,
Yes.
so I'm guessing this was part of your strategy to help build trust. But trust is such I think an amorphous attribute for a lot of people, hard to pin down. So were there other things that you considered a priority right out of the gate to do that would help move the needle on trust?
Or how did you?
Yeah.
Well, one was, I would tell you this, and one was actually listening to the people, not just hearing them and then doing nothing about it. Two was there were what I call hoarders in the business. So they didn't want to teach others how to do their job.
Yeah.
And so they stayed, nor would they put together a process on how to do the job. They'd be like, well, if I do that, then you don't need me. I'm like, well, if you don't do that, I need you less. Like, that's how this works. And so,
Right.
and so when unfortunately I had to make some very tough decisions in those first 2 years, we had 56% turnover of employees when I took over. And a lot of it was hoarders. And other people saw that and they're like, oh, he's actually paying attention, or the leadership is paying attention. And it really meant a lot to the team. A lot of them are still here today. And it meant a lot to the team that we were genuinely listening, looking into it. We weren't making decisions off the cuff. I'm a big believer of facts. So like when things came up, I'm like, all right, I'll dig into this myself. I'm going to find out the facts and I'm going to make a decision based on that. It would take me a week or two sometimes, but I would make a decision and then I would share my decision with the powers that be that were involved. And I think that meant a lot to them, that helped build that trust. He's actually paying attention. So
No, Mitch, it's interesting you're talking about knowledge management, really, and how do we leave a legacy? And it's through these standard operating procedures. I'm working with an organization on the customer experience right now, and one of the things I asked them to do is have all their people write down the processes that they go through, and the pushback has been incredible. I just assumed that everybody would be fine with it,
Scary
No.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
and
fearful of the
sure.
job. They're
Thanks.
writing their job down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think some of it though is that they're not just protective of what they do. I think they've got it up here, but they don't know how to put it, down here in the computer or on a piece of paper. So I found that just with a little guidance of what it is, what it looks like, here's a template, that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but it's knowledge management is so incredibly important. One of the things you talk about, and I'm curious about, is the LEAP framework. And I know it's a book. I can't remember the book itself, but that book, I think, shifted your leadership approach. So I'd like to know more about, what about the book resonated with you? What did you take away and what did you implement?
So back in 2006, I think it was, one of my best friends and former chief commercial officer here at Trailer Bridge, Jeff Vaughn, gave me the book. We were working at the NYK at the time. No, we were at 4E Logistics in that time period. And it was a book by Steve Farber. And LEAP stands for, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah.
So now I'm embarrassed that I forgot that.
Yeah. Oh, if Steve's watching, he's going to be like, what the hell, Jeff?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Bye,
LEAP
Steve.
stands for love, energy, audacity, and proof. And the way he wrote it, it resonated with me because it wasn't, I've seen the books that say the 6 principles of a leader. And I'm always like, man, there's only 6. I don't know about that, but I'll go with it. But it resonated because you connected yourself with some character in the story. And for me, I've been in a leadership position of some kind since basically 2000. So the first 5-6 years, I was like, have I been doing it right? And I think it says, okay, I have. It's okay to care about your employees. It's okay to have your employees over for dinner. It's okay to go to their house and hang out with their family as their leader. You can separate friendship and boss. And so it just really connected, and it just allowed me to say, I can do more under this kind of leadership style. And that's what really, really hit me. And again, there's, being audacious and proving you're right. You got to prove you're right. You got to have some accountability. And that was what the proof was for me, is you can't just have this loving and energy and being audacious, but are we making money? We're a for-profit business. So is this working? And there's the proof if it's working.
Mitch, you speak faster than any of us. So can you once again just say what LEAP stands for?
Love, energy, audacity, and proof. And I got to make sure I did cultivate love, generate energy, inspire audacity, and provide proof. So it's not just the 4 words, it's the 8 words.
Excellent.
Yeah. Wow.
And Melissa Morrison, who seems to know you, or you should know her. If you
She's been with me a long time.
She said one of my favorite quotes from Mitch to the whole company: "If you can't be kind, there's the door." It's that simple, right? Creating a culture of treating each other well was a huge change for us in 2015. We talk about culture here. Obviously, that's the entire focus. But I often say that culture is the past. Kind of look in your rearview mirror. So, and present is now. So, how do we look through our windshield? I'm curious. There's a question for you. How are you showing people you're looking through your windshield to see what's coming down the road ahead as well?
Well, I think that's probably one of the biggest questions I get sometimes is, okay, when we were 150 employees, culture's great, right? We've done amazing things. You're right, behind us. Well, what do we do when we're 500 employees or 1,000 employees or 2,000 employees? And it's about making sure we pay attention to it. And through our leadership development program, through our onboarding program, through communications, one of the things that when COVID hit, one of the things that we were very conscious of is not over communicating, but communicating enough to the employees about everything that's going on, not only in the world that we see, but also inside of our business, and make sure we're not hiding behind things. Because when companies hide behind stuff, people will fill in the gaps.
Oh
And the
yeah,
gaps
they'll,
are not
they'll
things you
make it.
want.
They'll make
They're
it
not
up,
good.
and
They're
they'll make it up, and a lot of times it'll be wrong.
100%. And so
Yeah.
we want to make sure we do that. So we have to do it every single day. And are we going to have a bad apple here and there? Of course we are. And so addressing that bad apple, I'll never forget, I had in logistics, it was pre-COVID, probably 19, number one salesperson we had, landed Walmart, great salesperson, did something in social media that was just, we took our time, we investigated it, got rid of him. That continues the culture. Those things continue the culture of, hey, you did what you did 4 years ago. You're doing it today is you're making sure the right people in the right seat. We do a lot of work ahead of time and bringing on the right people. Like that there's two things I always talk about is don't mess up payroll. Like that's my number one rule. And two is
Thank you for saying mess. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I didn't. And then the other thing is that make sure we take our time and bring on the right people. Because
I was just going to ask. I was just going to ask you about that, Mitch.
I mean, it seems so obvious to us, and yet we all see people say, "Yeah, you have a DNA profile. Come on."
But
build a role. It's a hot seat.
I'm sorry, Mike had a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that, Mitch. So, is there a particular way that you go about gauging a person's fit for your culture when you're hiring?
So yeah, there is. So we obviously we have an amazing recruiting person. Her name's Jasmine. If she's on, she is absolutely incredible. But we've incorporated different tools. Predictive index is one of the tools we've incorporated, and it's I don't know if you ever heard of it, but literally there's like 250 words. You pick words that you think you are, and then you pick words that you think other people see you as, and not only that with that role. But we identify the roles to make sure the person, because it's not just about the person fitting with us, it's also about us fitting with the person. Because if they're not happy, then it's not going to work. But we take our time. It's a couple of interviews, sit with the team for 2 to 3 hours, because you can fake anything for an hour. It is tough to fake for 4 hours. It is really difficult with assessments.
Yeah, you'll break, won't you?
Something's gonna come up, and someone's gonna go, "Hey, did you just hear what they said?" Like you're like, there it is. So
and that's the other thing about the interviews is it's the two-way thing, right? Like the person is trying to assess a fit. I chatted with someone who had an interview a week or two ago and came out going, "Oh, that was a horrible interview." I said, "What made it horrible?" And then she was telling me, she said, "Well, they want this, and that's not my philosophy, and the hours are bad." And she's complaining. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? It's a phenomenal interview."
That's a great interview. You just disqualified yourself and kept yourself from a life of misery for you and them.
Yeah. And the other thing too that you were talking about, Mitch, what I think is so powerful, which definitely shapes the culture, is you're not creating blanket rules for the exception. It's like you said, this one employee had some social media miscue. And what a lot of organizations usually go, "Well, we'll make a rule. From now on, no one's allowed to use social media."
And that'll take care of that.
Yeah, why would you do that? Why would you punish everyone for one person screwing up?
You don't.
And you did your due diligence, you checked it out, and decided that was the appropriate action. So let's not punish everyone when it's a very small minority. I think
that goes back to something we were talking about in the last episode in the psychological contract, when we were talking about the ethics of justice versus the ethics of care. And that's an ethics of care example.
And does everybody know that they can see every one of our episodes?
That's right. That's right. Go to eowednesday.com.
It's like showing your book again.
I want to
be able to see this as well. Yeah.
I want to try something we've never done before. If you guys don't mind. We have a lot of people who Mitch invited from his organization. So if you work with Mitch, would you just in the chat box, would you, I'm not going to put you on the spot, Mitch. Would you
You're fine. You can put me on the spot. It won't bother me at all. I promise.
Right. But the first word you think of when you think of culture at Trailer Bridge, just one word, what would it be?
Oh, that's great.
We'll keep it going.
And Mitch, can you close your eyes? We'll do this anonymously.
I have no need. Listen, they know me. They know
fun,
they can
love,
say whatever
friendship,
they want.
Care, family.
Yeah.
I know this is great. While these answers are coming in, I so often say to groups, when you hire a person, you really are hiring a family.
Yeah.
And I've had some pushback on that. Say, well, some people want to keep their family, separate from. well, that's fine. You don't push anything, you don't force anything. But I think most people, and you've probably seen this, Mitch, most people are very happy to share their family situation with because it matters to so many. And I think when you honor their family situation, it just shows that you're employing the whole person, not just what they can come and do there.
And I see that my head of HR is on here, so hopefully she won't kill me by saying this. My number one question I asked in an interview, the first one that comes out of my mouth is, tell me about you. And typically I start reading off the resume. And I was like, no,
Right.
I've got that in front of me.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there anything else
I
about
want to
you?
know about you. And then when they immediately start talking about, they say the things you're not supposed to ask, right? You're like, I have a family, I'm married, I have a kid. But that's the most important thing to them. I'm like, oh, you're my person. You're my person.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And they're volunteering that, so you haven't broken any rules.
That should be number one. Your family
Yeah.
and whatever it is, that should be number one in your life. And I've done this in interviews. Number one in your life should be that. Number two or three, either order, and all top three can go anyway. Religious beliefs, friends, whatever. Work is somewhere around 4 or 5. And when you put work around 4 or 5, guess how good you're going to be at work?
Yeah.
Really damn good. So
yeah.
Mitch, thank you for asking. I'm going to be a grandfather soon, and I love my family. And let me tell you about my daughter. Oh,
please. No, go ahead.
Not the time.
Are you looking for a job?
No,
no,
definitely not. And that's an inside joke too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's fine. Hey, let's talk about the culture at Trailbridge. You alluded a little bit to it earlier, but I know you've led a real major. You haven't just managed a business. You haven't just CEO'd a company. You've led a major cultural transformation at Trailbridge, which again, I've known Trailbridge a lot. I've known Trailbridge a lot longer than I've known Mitch Luciano, just because people in Jacksonville know Trailbridge. So what lessons kind of helped you influence, and I guess more importantly than that, sustain that shift? Because a lot of times I see people kind of start in with a shift, but if it's not super easy, they don't keep it going. What lessons helped you influence and sustain the shift in the cultural transformation at Trailbridge?
I would tell you that the biggest lesson I learned is the people wanted it. Everyone here wanted it so bad. It made it fairly easy. Like it was.
So you had a really willing audience then.
It was the ones that are still here. Yes, they they made it easy for me. Because listen, my job is to support. As I said this earlier, my job, my sole job is to support everyone else in this entire company. And if I lead by that example of doing that every day, the other leaders will do the same thing, and they know it. I tell them this. I'm not saying anything they haven't heard from my mouth before, but they made it so easy for me. It made it so easy to just come in and enjoy my job and stop and actually say hello to people. There's people in here that in the natural life of things, we would probably not be friends. I mean, we would probably not cross paths or be friends.
Yeah.
But we did. And so the lessons that this company taught me is way further than anything I've learned in my past, right? It really is. Just a diversity of this company. At one point we had a lady here that was 72 to a young lady that was 22. I'm like, we have a 50-year gap in age. We have cultural differences that are outrageous. And we all find a way to respect each other for our differences. And that lesson alone, especially in the world we live in, unfortunately today, sometimes you're like, this melting pot of people is unreal. And I wish the rest of the world treated itself like the same way. And that's why I love this company. That lesson I've learned, I've carried out into my personal life. I've got 5 kids. I have 3 older daughters, 2 younger kids, and I've taught my older kids this. I've seen the younger kids this, and they see it every day. They act the same way, and there's no better pride than that when your kids are repeating what they see, and it's just like it puts a smile on your face. You're like, I'm just.
Well, here's the thing: kids will repeat what they see and hear.
Yes.
The difference is if you can be proud of what you're hearing coming out of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that.
And not just kids, Richard.
You know what? Though, again, I'm gonna be a bit of a pain and say that.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
Is this what Sanjay is? Hang on, this is our first time. Is this what Sanjay does every time?
Yes, every time.
Oh yeah. Don't feel rained on.
If by this you mean be a pain, yes.
Are we done?
I had to ask.
Okay,
we'll never be done.
You said, they wanted it. And when you said they wanted an organization where people are trusting and loving and sharing and all that, transparent.
Yeah.
What organization in the world doesn't want that? So the reason.
Well, okay, I don't disagree with you. I agree with you.
Previous CEOs all wanted that same
They
thing.
did give a safe space to do that.
Sauce. You had a secret sauce in there. So you're selling yourself shy or what? But there's more to it than just that. It's not that people wanted to maybe. There's an old saying that says, "I'm a strong believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." And
so so I was speaking to a company here recently, and it was a small group of like 10 people. And when I got done doing my presentation and talking to them, one of the questions I got was, what do you do when you have a toxic leader? How do you change that? I go, you find a new job. That's what you do. And so, I mean, you can't change that person. I mean, they're toxic for a reason. Whether they learn that, whether their life sucks, whatever the reason is, we don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to that person. I don't know who they are. I think that if you give them a safe space, I guess for here at Trailer Bridge, you have to remember there used to be town halls before, and they would tell people in town hall, I'd start looking for a new job. And I'm like, and I came out going, don't look for a new job. We're going to grow this thing. You're going to grow your career. And what we're going to do is, yes, we were a $120 million, $110 million company back then. We're going to become a $300 million company. And that's how you're going to grow your career, not because people retire, resign, or leave the company, but you're going to do it based on our growth and your work ethic. And so it was a safe space of people to actually listen. We used to have these. We have town hall suggestions, right? And so town hall suggestions can range from the most serious things to the most mundane things to, can we please work from home? That's the most popular one. Can we please work from home? I'm not a work from home person. There are a few that do work from home just because they don't live in Jacksonville. They moved and they were such a great employee, we wanted to keep them. But it's giving people, if the town hall suggestions and I opened them up and laughed at them, like I know a lot of companies did. There are a lot of companies that would open it up or they wouldn't put them on there. I put every single town hall suggestion on the screen, every single one, no matter what. There's one today. I'm kind of, for those that are on
you are laughing.
There's one today talking about the cleanliness of the men's bathroom. And
say what? What is it?
It's the cleanliness of the men's bathroom after. And so there's one on there.
Yeah.
And I put it on there. I'll talk about it. So it's that ability to say, okay, he actually puts them all on here. Like he doesn't avoid the hardest topic or the dumbest topic or the easiest topic or whatever it is. And I think if you build that, and again, I said it took time. It took a solid 3 years. And what happened, unfortunately for us, was in September of 2017, Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. And that was our core business lane. I've never seen a group of people come together more. I get goosebumps right now, more than I've ever seen before. And that hurricane that absolutely destroyed the island and destroyed our families' lives, the families' lives down there. And they recovered, but we supported the families. We did everything we could. We had 8 people down from Jacksonville every year every week on a private plane. You couldn't go 2 weeks in a row. It just solidified who we were as a company. And at that time, my wife was pregnant with our first child, my only son, and she was like, go be with them, in Puerto Rico. So all that kind of just built up to this moment, and ever since then, it's just been, we're here for each other. Yeah. We serve each other.
I want to go back to something you just said, and maybe it's a lesson for the people who work with you, who are with us for the first time. You know, the whole thing about the men's room. And I know you're saying tongue in cheek at one point, but it's a touch point. It's a leadership touch point. But it's not only that. It's if you think of it in terms of our internal customers, it's a touch point. It's an opportunity to change something about that touch point. So I think it's a gift that these people are giving you any kind of suggestions.
Yes.
And I love that you treat them as a gift, not as as negative or comical. So thank you for that.
Oh.
Look at what Jason is saying. I mean, just the willingness to tackle potentially volatile topics in the town hall. One of the main convincing factors that brought me to Trailer Bridge. I'm always getting asked, so how do we attract and retain, folks? It's that kind of stuff, don't you think? It's not all the little techniques and all that. It's about being real.
Not the bells and whistles. Yeah. It's about connecting with people and making them feel. Yeah. Mitch, since you are really good with dealing with difficult situations, we've been wanting to address Michael and his hair for a long time. I was wondering if you could lead that discussion. It's
Well, I think
He
I
would
think
do
he
it
might.
with-
I think a good start would be comb it forward. Like, we got to see how that would look.
We've
He
seen it up
is.
like this.
How about
He
this?
is
How about
combing it
this?
forward.
Oh, that's
There
hey.
you
I
go.
think you're
Now,
winning.
that's the look. There
You already
go.
look smarter.
and that's
Right.
why you're the CEO. See,
We have new
Ah,
people here,
fancy.
guys. We got to be serious. So,
Yes, yes,
Sanjay,
yes.
put it in the suggestion box. We'll
Yeah.
deal with it at our next meeting. So,
Come on,
so-
we don't have a lot of time. We got a couple more questions for Mitch.
yes,
Mitch, you-
So, Mitch, your leadership philosophy is rooted in actually doing what you say you're going to do. What a concept, right? Living your values out loud. So, why do you think? Why do small actions like that matter so much in building an executive presence? And do you think that small moments lead to big outcomes? Is this
Do we promote another book, guys?
He's
Am I okay?
incorrigible.
I don't know. When did that book come out?
last year?
Okay, all right.
Thanks
So
for all the idea, jerk.
yeah. So I think that, it's obviously, I teach my own kids this. It's not the big things. It's the little things. The little ones that count and that add up. And it's the little ones that we think are little are very important to others.
Yeah.
And so it honestly got it. I know it sounds crazy. It started with an ice machine. It was the first town hall I ever did. One of the suggestions was an ice machine. And I said, yes. And now if I say yes, or I promise it's going to happen, I will sometimes say I will do my very best. And that is my way of saying I'm going to do everything I can, but I can't guarantee. But if I say yes, or I promise it's going to happen, and someone wanted an ice machine and they've been asking for an ice machine for years, and we had no ice in this building. None. And so I'm like, how do you not have ice? Like, that's not a thing. So I was like, yeah, well, absolutely an ice machine. A couple days went by and I was like, hey, so anyone ordered the ice machine? They're like, no. I'm like, fuck it. So I went on Amazon and they wanted the Chick-fil-A ice. So I went on Amazon and I thought I ordered the Chick-fil-A ice. I did not, but it came in, and now we have one, two. I think we have 2 ice machines. And so it was that one step. Like, he said he was going to do it, just the ice machine. I did order it. Now, Catfish and others from my maintenance area, they installed it. But those little things really.
You had me at catfish. You had me at catfish. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ironically, his name is the same name Eric Simmons is my brother-in-law, but he goes by Catfish. Anyways,
Okay.
so it was those little tiny things that start to add up that really mean something. And there are times, like, I hate missing meetings. I hate when I set up something and I set it up and I miss it, and I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. This came up. The board called me. I can't. And so I will do everything in my power to make sure what I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. And I think the team believes that. They know that. And if something comes up, listen, you can't. I don't even know who said this. It was an author. I don't know if it was Gary Vee or Simon Sinek or somebody. I was watching sometime, and like,
Might have been Michael Kerr. You never know.
you cancel 3-4 things in a row. Guess what? They don't believe in you anymore.
Yeah.
It's over. You've lost it. You've built all this time of building it up, and it's now you've killed all of the goodwill that you've built up is gone, and you cannot do that as a leader.
It goes to the point you made earlier, which I think is extremely powerful, which is this idea is it takes years to build, but you can ruin it in one day. And look at what Coldplay CEO boy, whatever, right? But
That's slightly different, but okay.
Yeah.
He did. He ruined it in one day.
What I mean by that is you can build up all this assets, all this relationship equity, and you can screw yourself over by just one stupid act.
Yeah.
One stupid act.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's not even sometimes 3 or 4 times missing something. For some people, it's one strike if it's an important enough issue.
Yeah.
If it's important enough to them, I agree with that. Yeah.
Whatever happened to Kramer off Seinfeld, right? Like it just takes one.
Yeah. We have a question from one of our faithful followers,
Stephen.
And he wants to know, what do you do to stay up to date on techniques to improve what or how you lead? Obviously, you read.
You're a reader, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's be safe, because I can't say I'm a reader, because everyone in Trailer Bridge might go on there and go, wait a second. I mean, I like to read. I just don't read that often, honestly. I'm very specific in what I like to read. I think for me as a leader is really staying up to date with the generational differences.
Mhm.
It's really understanding how a 20-year-old today, what are they going to be like at 35? What do they need? What do they want? And I know this is definitely a Gary Vee saying. It was, Charlie at 23 is different than Charlie at 30,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Oh
so you
yeah.
have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
understand what their needs and wants are, and not just their needs and wants. What is it, generational needs? Like, because the current generation that is getting hired today, the young generation, they want to know that they're making a difference. How are they making a difference? And I would tell you that my generation, Generation X, it wasn't about making a difference. It really wasn't. That wasn't the philosophy. But it is today. And so you have to show them, what are they doing to make a difference in the world? And it goes further. You have to keep understanding the people and what their needs are and what the generational needs are and how you can help them build those.
Yeah.
And Mitch,
Love
I grow really weary of people complaining about the younger generation. And I mean, what they're really saying is, I really wish that they would be more like me. And I mean, I've come to the conclusion they don't really want to be like me. So it sounds to me like you're saying, let's don't try to change them. Let's work on us and let's
100%.
respond to that. Yeah.
It's our responsibility as
Yeah.
leaders,
Yeah.
especially as
Yeah.
leaders.
And
Yeah.
the other thing too is, like, I mean, Jeff at 60 is the same as Sanjay at 12. So, you have to take that into account.
True.
So, thanks, Sanjay. I don't know if that was a compliment or not. I
I can't figure it out either. That's why I thought it was funny.
You're projecting into the future when you say Jeff at 60. But anyway, carry
I
on.
was referring to his IQ, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
By the way, I do want to say that for everybody here, Mitch got a great compliment. Carol finally spoke out today and said you are a delight. So glad to
Thank
have you.
Carol.
So I think
And
Carol, I heard
Mitch,
you're-
you don't know
you're
Carol,
one of the
but
regulars.
Carol is a delight, and
Yes.
to get that from her, that those are big words. So good.
exactly. So Mitch, to finish things off,
Yeah.
you've spoken about flipping the pyramid, and we've only got a few minutes. So in just a few minutes, can you?
Like 3 minutes, yeah.
I think it's leading through service and not through authority. We talk about leadership a lot on this show. We talk about the fact that it's not a title. A leader is not really a title, and so anybody can be a leader. But can you share that philosophy with us fairly quickly?
Yeah, as quickly as I can. I think most companies, they talk about it, like, the typical pyramid is like right, CEO, VPs, it goes down the line. And I flip it. Like, I'm here to support. I'm strong enough to support. I've gotten to this position. That's probably one of the reasons I didn't take the CEO role at first. I was kind of scared of it because I was like, I always wanted to be a CEO, and I finally got it. And I was like, wait a second, I don't know if I want this because I don't know if I can handle all this weight. And it does have a lot of weight. It's a very lonely spot. You're sitting there singular on your own, trying to hold up a company. But I'm there to support the company. And companies talk about it all the time. The difference between talking about it and actually doing it. And one of the things I love about Trailer Bridge and the leadership team we have here and the people that I work with is they actually believe in it. We are here for everybody else. Because honestly, at the end of the day, for a for-profit company, I'm not making money. I'm not the one making money. It's this person up here and this person. They're the ones actually making money for us. So what do I have to do to help support you, make your life better, make money for the company, which you make more money and you're able to buy that new car, whatever the things are that people want. I don't care what it's a new car, apartment, or whatever they need and want. How do I help support you to get that? And that's the shift of the pyramid is, and people talk about it, but man, most people don't actually do it, and so it's like, so we actually do it here. And over the last last 2 years, I've gotten rid of I have unfortunately parted ways. CFO, COO, and CCO. I love them all. They're hopefully still good friends, but it was supporting the team and helping them grow.
Yeah. And by the way, I put in the chat box a great book by John Stalwart called Servant Leadership, which is exactly that.
Yeah.
Turning the pyramid upside down. So
Yeah.
if you do want to read it,
Wow.
it's a good read. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Great. Mitch, thank you. You make me really proud that I want everybody to know that I'm responsible for Mitch being here. No, it's
Well done,
not about
Richard.
me.
Well done.
It's about Mitch. This has really been great. And the 45-minute time warp has moved even faster than it normally does.
I want Mitch back.
Yeah,
Let's do
Mitch,
it.
can we have you back? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, this is more. Mitch is more than a 45-minute person.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about it at lunch next month, Mitch. But we'll get you back.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
But listen, so when's the next time we're coming together, guys? It is August the what?
6th.
August the 6th. Thank you. Sanjay keeps that information. So yeah, August the 6th. Meantime, Mitch Luciano, CEO of Trailer Bridge in Jacksonville, Florida. This has been a real delight. We've learned a lot. You've made our audience richer for this, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And any final comments, guys?
Yeah, just I want to ask a question of all you guys. When do we normally get together?
Every other Wednesday. See you then. Bye.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you all.
Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody who are first timers too.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You can come back and join us anytime. You'll get a notice in 2 weeks. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.